Hey Broadway World, my name is J. Scott Lapp and I am the director of the Bridges of Madison County here at the Public Theater of San Antonio. It has been such a wonderful treat being out here working on the show. Been here for about a month in final rehearsals, preview tomorrow night, and then we open on Friday, and the show will run until June 3rd. I happened to be out here by way of Spokane. I know George Green, who worked in Spokane, and he asked me to come down to the public and do this show. I actually had asked him about Hunchback, my previous experience. I grew up in San Diego, and I have worked a lot at La Jolla Playhouse and the Old Globe, and so I worked on Bonnie and Clyde that went to Broadway, The Hunchback of Notre Dame that started at La Jolla and then made its way to Paper Mill, and most recently, I've been working on The Prince of Egypt. So I am the associate director to Scott Schwartz, and we did The Prince of Egypt up in Palo Alto, and then 2 months ago opened the show in Denmark. The Bridges of Madison County is a beautiful, romantic, sweeping love story. If you know the movie, if you know the book, the source material, the show goes in deeper and it kind of backs up and pans around, where the movie was just the two stars, Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep. And in the musical, you kind of get to learn the backstory of why they make the decisions they make. You see the town and how they react to everything. You learn about Robert's past through a song sung by his ex-girlfriend. So it's really smartly written. Marsha Norman and Jason Robert Brown have written this beautiful score and story that's intimate, and it feels like a musical, but it also feels like an opera, and it feels like a play all at the same time. It's this gorgeous kind of cacophony of theatrics and romance, which is beautiful. To me, what I think makes the musical stand out so much is this gorgeous score. I mean, Jason Robert Brown has taken these different sounds. He has the sound of Italy from Francesca's point of view. He has the sound of Winterset, Iowa, and he has the sound of Robert Kincaid, who's this kind of traveling nomad. And so you get this score that has these different feelings and different emotions, but it all weaves into itself in a very beautiful way. And I think that's what makes the show so incredible, is the way that they've chosen to tell the story, using the music to really heighten all of the moments.
The next question that I have for you has to do with how the Public Theater of San Antonio has transformed over the past couple of years and how they're now becoming equity and what that really means.
Sure. I mean, being here in San Antonio, this is the first time I've ever been here. This is the first time I've worked at the theater, so I don't have a lot of back experience with the company itself, but I've come in kind of at this turning point where they're starting to go more professional, and so we have 2 equity actors in the show, and everything is kind of elevated in a way that the expectation is that it runs in a more professional way. And I think having actors and having that mindset around the rehearsal process and the performances just kind of elevates everything to a wonderful new level where hopefully the San Antonio Theater will continue to grow and flourish in that way. Sure.
What can the audiences expect from the shows now that this has changed?
Well, I think you're going to start to see an incredible amount of talent start to come down to the theater here, not just from the surrounding area, which you hope you'll get, but also from New York and LA and Chicago and the great theater scenes. I think that's what George has in mind, is to start bringing people in to help elevate the performance level and the quality of the theater here in San Antonio.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and start out and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to be part of the Bridges of Madison County.
So my story to getting here is kind of a long one. I went to school for vocal performance and was an opera major for a long time. I have an undergraduate from Sam Houston State and a master's from the University of Alabama. And then I came to what was the Playhouse and auditioned for Secret Garden, and luckily landed that role and just kind of loved it here and loved the experience and decided I wanted to do strictly musical theater. And so I just stuck with that and kept going, and luckily got cast as Robert Kincaid, and I'm thoroughly enjoyed to be here.
So tell us some more about your character in this show.
Robert Kincaid is a brilliant artist in his own right. His medium is his camera, and so he takes wonderful pictures and has been traveling around. He's kind of a rebel. He had some issues with his dad and went to the army, but still he's just kind of got this free spirit. So he's a nomad. He's taking pictures everywhere, all around the world, and he ends up in Winterset, Iowa. We should take that again. Winterset, Iowa, and just winds up on the driveway asking for directions and finds really what I think he's looking for. In his whole life, he's kind of always searching for something to inspire him in a different way and kind of stop him in his tracks, and Francesca is that for him.
And so tell us a little bit more about, when you're playing this role, what did you do to get ready for this particular character?
I first off went to the script and kind of just kept the lines and tried to get them in my body as much as I can, and then it's such a beautiful score and really a challenging sing. He's got so many different styles of music, and it goes from kind of classical to legit Broadway, even some country kind of influences in there, and so it's just kind of putting all that and taking a bunch of different times that I can make and get it all together. This show is one of my favorites. I think it's a beautiful story, and if you want to come see a musical that'll have you tapping your foot, wanting to get up and dance, and then also wanting to get you huddled up in the fetal position, ready to bawl your eyes out, this is definitely the one for you. It's going to take you through a lot of emotions, and everybody's really real on stage, and I just hope everybody can connect with us.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Quiros, and I'm in the male ensemble in Bridges of Madison County. I'm actually new to the public. I'm originally from San Antonio, but I spent a couple of years in New York and came back to Texas State to go to school for theater. And super excited. San Antonio's finally got its first professional equity company. So once I heard that, I had to jump on board. It's been a great process. Jeremy Lapp, he's our guest director. He has been a dream. The cast itself, super talented, hardworking, and everyone's really a family. And the cool thing here, everybody's a family. From the AD, George Green, all the way down to costume, like we all get along, we're all professional, respectful. It's a really good place to call home.
And so tell us a little bit about what you're doing in the show as part of the ensemble then.
So this is a little bit different of a show for ensemble. It's a town. It's a huge town. Well, not a huge town, it's actually a small town, but it feels big at times. There's tons of things going on backstage. What you see actually on stage is pretty minimal. Backstage is a completely different story. So we are moving things, fixing problems, bringing in things. It's choreography that happens back there. So it's a lot. Almost 2 shows at once.
Well, what about some of the shows that you were involved in when you were in New York? Were there shows that you did there?
Yeah, I was in the original cast of Pinkalicious when that came out. It was at Vital Theater Company first and then transferred to Soho Playhouse. I did a couple of national tours based out of Philadelphia. I did The Wizard of Oz and Babes in Toyland. Did those. And pretty much after that, I kind of left, just relocated, wanted to expand, and found myself back at Texas State at San Marcos, which is actually an hour from here, so it was pretty close to home, so that was a really nice treat.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.